Now, an overnight drone attack on Kyiv has injured at least 11 people, including 2 children. Falling debris from intercepted drones ignited fires in residential buildings across 3 districts of the Ukrainian capital. This attack comes amid talks of a potential ceasefire. Russia has proposed a 3-day pause set to start on Wednesday during World War II victory commemorations, while Ukraine has counter-proposed a 30-day halt to hostilities. We'll talk about all of this with Zein Basravi. Zein, you're in the Ukrainian capital, you're in Kyiv. Tell us about this attack on Kyiv. What more? I think, yeah, I can definitely see behind you. You're where the attack took place. What are you finding out?
Well, let me give you a sense of exactly where this happened and how intense it was. At around 12:30 a.m. local time, a wave of drone strikes, about 165 across the country, but a wave of explosions and drone strikes began here in the capital. The explosions began. There were multiple loud bangs from incoming but also outgoing defensive fire. And as you can see, the damage is quite extensive. This is a shopping mall. This is the side of a long shopping mall with retail stores, coffee shops, restaurants, children's play areas, and several retail outlets. This is ostensibly a civilian area, as you can see. It's Sunday, it's the weekend, people are out and about, and they're seeing all of this destruction in their neighborhoods, in civilian neighborhoods. Over here is an impact crater about 3 or 4 feet deep from one of the drones that hit this space, and it's right in the car park of a grocery store. We see at least almost a dozen vehicles we've seen have been damaged by this. There's a residential tower block just over to the side of us, and windows completely shattered, various areas damaged by explosive shrapnel and everything else that was set off from these explosions. Now, this is a civilian space. There's a coffee shop over there with its windows blown out that is still serving customers because it is the weekend. So what Ukrainians will tell you is that attacks on areas like this, and Cherkasy was also hit with a drone strike overnight, Kyiv as well, constantly having attacks carried out like this, and we're just about 12 kilometers from the center of the city, 12 kilometers north of it. Ukrainians will say this is an indication that Russia is simply not serious about any sort of negotiated solution, that they continue to carry out these attacks on what are civilian areas.
Yeah, Zein, talk to us a little bit more about that, because so the Russian president on his side is proposing a 3-day ceasefire that he would like to see take effect very soon, in just a few days. The Ukrainian president has said, in his words, that he's not going to play Putin's games. Walk us through all of this ceasefire talk.
Well, from the Ukrainian side, they will continue to say that it was almost 2 months ago when the U.S. proposed a 30-day truce, a 30-day ceasefire, to carry out talks in an environment where the guns were silenced. And Ukraine's officials continue to say that that is the international mandate, that is what negotiating partners and all of the world leaders have agreed to, and that is what they need to convince Russia to agree to. And anything short of that is not something that is internationally mandated, that is not a reasonable way to go about negotiating any kind of truce. So they continue to say that about 2 months ago, they agreed to an unconditional truce that lasts 30 days, long enough to sit down and negotiate some kind of way forward to end this war. And anything short of that, Ukraine's leaders continue to say, is simply a tactic being used by Moscow to shore up support, to organize its defenses. They say that the Easter Sunday truce, the Easter holiday truce earlier this year, is an example of how Russia simply tried to carry out a public affairs tactic to illustrate that they were ready to negotiate. But that truce never took effect and was so short, was so last minute that it could not have been workable. So what Ukraine's leaders continue to say, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in his statement to the public in his address last night said the same thing. They're ready to commit to a truce immediately, but it has to be along internationally agreed lines. It has to be at least 30 days. And foreign governments, capitals across the world, have to put pressure on Russia to come to the table along those terms.
Zein Basravi reporting from the site of the latest Russian attack in Kyiv. Thank you very much, Zein.